Welcome. Up next, we're sinking our teeth into Palm Springs' best mid-mod architecture.
Palm Springs is an amazing destination. It's becoming a place because of the weather, golf, and tennis, and its uniqueness to closeness to Los Angeles. And a little bit of history that I like to share with people. Back in the 40s and 50s, everything is named after a celebrity here, and people always ask why or whatever. So in the 40s and 50s, the celebrities were under contract, and they had to be within 2 hours of the studio, because back then they danced, they sang, they acted, and they were on a production mill, and they had to be within a certain time. So they would come out here. Thus, we have all the celebrity homes, but it's quite unique, and that gave Palm Springs its start. So modernism really began in 2006, and there were about 12 of us sitting around the table, and we started Modernism Week. And it has grown into what it is today, with over 20-some thousand people coming from around the world to come and visit and see some of these beautiful properties that we have. And it's not just architecture, it's art, design, and culture. So this is one of my favorite properties. This is the Dinah Shore Palm Springs estate. It was built in 1964 by Don Wexler, one of the famous mid-century architects. A little bit about Dinah Shore. She won 9 Emmys, a Grammy, and a Peabody. She was the first woman ever allowed into Hillcrest Country Club as a golfer and tennis player. And there was the golf tournament was named after her for years, and now it's got a different name. This property is 7,000 square feet on 1.3 acres. And when you walk into the front, coming up to the front door, it's also known as Spider Lake architecture, because there's steel beams. So in the 60s, steel was cheap, so Don incorporated that into a few of the properties, and it looks unique, and it looks like legs of a spider. So this is a party house, how Palm Springs would party. When you walk into the living room, you can see inside is outside and outside is inside. So whether it be day or night, you can see people inside and outside. Sitting behind me here, we have a pool house, which was actually where Dinah Shore lived with her husband at the time, Maurice Smith, who was the contractor for Don Wexler building the house. And then we also have the tennis court, which is in itself is a nice little building. There's a whole movement of the mid-century living and going back to the past, but what the past is also what is the future. So you look at the classic designs of floor-to-ceiling windows and glass, great lines, so that's architecture that's never going to go out of style. The Palm Springs Preservation Foundation fosters in saving properties, nominating them for Class 1, and then sharing the properties and lectures for people throughout the year. A Class 1 is the city nomination for a property, and it makes it so that in perpetuity the architecture cannot be touched or changed without special permission from the city. And it also gives the owners a tax break on their property taxes. But most importantly, it saves properties for people to enjoy for years and years to come.